Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kahau Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gatadhar Sri Vasadi Se Gaura Bhaktavind ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Sri Jagannathpur Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktavind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories to Sisi Gaurang Se Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyam Sattato Jaya Mudirayit Nasta Paye Swabhadrisu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavaiti Naistike. So, although we are not reading from the Bhagavatam, but the whole of Balaram's pastimes mainly from the Bhagavatam. So, Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Saksol Meditam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guraven Maha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stafitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gatadhaya Puspavantu Chitu Chanda Tamonadu Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Itinam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sonyabadi Pasatya Disata Pancha Kalpatari Decha Sundya Evacha Patitanam Dhavanindya. So, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to this auspicious occasion of the appearance of Lord Balaram. Balaram Jayanti ki jai. So Balaram is more important to us, those who are true Rupanugas. Balaram is more important to us than Krishna. Why? Because Balaram is the original guru, is the Adi guru, and you can't please the spirit, you can't please Krishna without pleasing the guru. Yasa prasadam, Bhagavat prasadam, yasa prasadam, nangati kutopi. It's just like Prabhupada wrote in his poem about Radharani, worshippers of Lord Krishna, that Prabhupada mentioned Krishna taba punya habe bai, e punya korebe jabe, Radharani kosi habe, dhruva ati bole tumaita. He said Brothers, if you want to please Krishna, you want to catch Krishna, you want to get Krishna, there's no way you can do that except you please Radharani. So, in a similar way, we cannot attain Krishna consciousness without pleasing Balaram. Now, a little background. We've read, or most of you have read from the Ramayana, and there is a beautiful Ramayana coming up. It's one of these devotees in Mayapur. He's writing the Ramayana, and he's writing it like Prabhupada, wrote the Bhagavatam, verse, verse for verse, a word for word transliteration, English translation, and purport. And it's so intriguing. That's the best Ramayana work I've ever seen. And he's not a famous person in ISKCON. He's not a Tridandi Goswami. He's not a staunch brahmachari. He's not one of your gurus. He's just a simple devotee, but is superlatively scholarly. So when he's been giving me each publication, that comes out, each volume that comes out, he gives to me, and I was so privileged. And I remember when I joined the movement, the only Ramayana I read was some Ramayana by some Indian author, and then later by Kirtananda Swami, and then another one. But it's just some, synopsis. That's some stories, some brief stories. I don't like synopsis. I like to go into the root of the matter. So this devotee is doing amazing service. Anita, what is his name? Huh? Yeah, Vilvan Guranga. Yeah, so when someone is doing amazing service, we should be appreciative. This is the culture of literacy. So, the reason I brought up the Ramayana thing is I was trying to talk about the background of the appearance of Lord Balaram as a senior brother to Krishna. Why not junior brother? Krishna is overall. Yeah, we know that Krishna and Balaram, they're not different. But why not? Why don't Krishna in this lila of appearing in Vrindavan with Balaram, why don't Krishna be the senior brother? Yes? Any answer to it? Yes, Mataji. I know most cases the men, they get too busy with work, so so the Matajis, in most cases, they're very busy with reading. I've been to several temples, and when he asks, they make an inquiry from the men. In most cases, they don't have an answer. But any women, the ladies, the Matajis, yes, so Matajis, why did Krishna not assume the role of a senior brother? He was the senior in Ram Lila. Yes? Yeah. That was the situation. Nobody likes to suffer, okay? Even the Lord doesn't like a so-called apparent suffering. The Lord also doesn't want to be encumbered with challenges, with difficulties. So I'm talking about the background of how Lord Balaram became the senior brother of Krishna in this lila. So during the Ram Lila, you know the difficulties that Lakshman passed through. In fact, at some point in time, Sita even accused him that, hey, you went to enjoy me. Otherwise, why don't you go and save your brother? Those things pricked him to the marrow. So, after passing through all of those challenges, no, now, even the Lord passes, this is a good thing here. Even the Lord passes through challenges, but they don't surrender to the difficulties. They develop strategies to prevent those type of incoherencies to reoccur. They develop strategies to prevent the reoccurrence of those problems. So Lakshman developed a strategy after having to pass through all of those sufferings and torments and all the stuff. He struck a deal with Krishna, with Lord Ramachandra. I'm ready to go with you anywhere. But you know what? In your next Leela, next appearances, I don't want to be a younger brother. Because this is too much for me. I don't want to commit offenses. So I will assume the position of your older brother so that I can also have some control. And that is why in this very Krishna Balaram appearance in Vrindavan, Balaram took the role of the senior. And we understand from the Bhagavatam, it's so expressly delineated. In the Bhagavatam, 10 canto, Krishna book, different volumes, it's all expressed there very insightfully how Lord Balaram appeared. First of all, Krishna instructed Yogamaya to go and do something he wanted done. Remember, Kamsa, again, if you can't talk about Krishna Balaram without talking about Kamsa. Kamsa, at the background of everything, was there to torment the Yadus, including Vasudeva and Devaki. And Vasudeva just got married to Devaki, the son of Devaka. And Kamsa was escorting them, the bride and the bridegroom, to the appropriate residence of the couple. And Kamsa had some information, some celestial transmission to him that the eighth child of this couple will be the cause of your annihilation. Imagine when you want to do something, you have a good heart, so to say, good heart, because he's doing that. We cannot say, oh, because he's a demon, so he developed some mischief also in. Everybody has some good and bad, good and bad ways, good and bad things. So to escort your sister, especially during the period of marriage, the marriage is a big thing. And if someone does not show up during your marriage, how can they say they love you? So marriage was just a big thing, and it's still a big thing all over the world. So Kamsa was there to help in driving, taking the couple to prevent any type of mischief. But then he got this message that the eighth son of Devaki will be the cause of his death. And so Vasudeva did a lot of work to dissuade Kamsa from killing Devaki on the spot. He could have done that. So Vasudeva expertly dissuaded him by dint of strategic persuasion, and Kamsa decided that he would put them in prison. Vasudeva also volunteered a statement that each of the children that is born, he will bring it to Kamsa for him to do justice. So, but then, when they were put in prison and each child was being brought to Kamsa for annihilation, the seventh pregnancy seems to have there seems to have been a miscarriage. But no, it was not a miscarriage. Krishna arranged it. Krishna told Yogamaya to go and transfer Balarama, who was a seventh pregnancy, to the womb of Rohini, who was living in Gokul, at the home of Nanda Maharaj. Rohini was also one of the wives of Vasudeva. But some of them, in modern days, when you have some troublesome president of a country, or there are troubles going on in a country, or there are wars going on in a country, people seek for what they call asylum. Asylum. And Rohini and some other wives of Vasudeva and other members of the Yadu dynasty, they had taken asylum in different areas, different places. So Rohini was at Vasudeva's, King Nanda's home. He was granted asylum there. So sometimes we think that the asylum is just a new thing, but it's been there since time immemorial. So then, Yogamaya did the job by transferring Balarama to the womb of Rohini. And these transfers of one child to another womb is been there in the Vedic literature. So this was, of course, an exceptional case because this was the direct instruction of Lord Krishna to Yogamaya. And so that was done, although the general mass of people, they thought that Devaki had a miscarriage. So eventually, Balarama took birth. And of course, when Krishna eventually had to appear and got transferred to Nanda's home, it was something that was expected. And Krishna and Balarama, the important point here is Krishna and Balarama, they are always together. So it's like a reunion. They come together in the same place again. Krishna is very expert at arranging things. So if Krishna is very expert at arranging things, why don't we just leave everything for Krishna to arrange? Huh? Why don't we just leave everything for Krishna to arrange? Krishna is very expert in making arrangements. So he arranged that himself and his brother, they come under the same shelter, the same house. And they were growing up together in this home, in this family. When they started crawling, Vrindavan during the rainy season could be, marshy outside. But one of those significant understanding, or one of those signals that Krishna and Balaram were living in Nanda Maharaja's palace was that if the Brajabasis are passing by, either they come in, they're going to sell their milk products, or they're coming from the farm, Krishna and Balaram will be crawling after the Brajabasis. And they have ankle bells. So the ankle bells will be ringing. Sometimes even in a dirty place, in the mud, they are attracted to the Brajabasis. And so sometimes they will crawl to a very long distance, and Brajabasis will turn and see them, and they will pick them up and take them to their mother. So they acted like, loving, ordinary loving children. But they were not ordinary children. Krishna and Balaram, they were the supreme personality of Godhead. And so they developed from child stage to Paganda, Kishore. And at the time, I remember one of the instances, the instance where Mother Yasoda bound Krishna, tied up Krishna with rope. So that day Krishna was like, he was very upset. And he shouted, Rohini! Rohini was nowhere to be found. That day Rohini has gone out with Balaram in a chariot to Upananda's home on invitation of Upananda's family. So Balaram was very upset. Krishna was very upset that Rohini was not there to save him. Because if Rohini was there, his mother wouldn't have tied him up to the ground in wooden mortar. So he was really upset that day. And because Krishna and Balaram, they're very lovingly disposed to each other. So when his father noticed that, he was so upset. And because, in fact, when the father came back, and then he found what went on, so he noticed that Krishna was very upset. So he picked him up, put him on his laps, and was rubbing his head. And at some point in time, Balarama and Rohini came when they came back from Upananda's home. And so Rohini apparently was told about what transpired. And then, to placate Krishna, the offer was made. Can Balaram come be with you? Come sit with you. He said, no. Very strange. He was really upset that he was abandoned. But traditionally, you see, if even they go to the forest, they're always together. They're always together. And Balaram performed a lot of amazing pastimes. When they have to go to an invitation, I don't know whether this is still going on in India, but during Krishna's appearance, Krishna and Balaram's appearance, sometimes parents or one family will call them over to their place for lunch or for dinner. But then Krishna will always make sure that Balaram was there. In fact, even in Krishna's room, Balaram always stayed with Krishna. Balaram has his own room, but he always stays. Even the cowherd boys, some of them sleep with Krishna in the same room. They will abandon their homes, come to stay, sleep with Krishna in the same room. This information is documented in the Govinda Leelamrita by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So they had amazing, wonderful pastimes. One of the major distinctive features is that Krishna was really naughty. Balaram, played the role of a gentleman. And so, Mother Yasoda entrusted Krishna to the care of Balaram. Although they were just almost of, the same Navayovanam, 16 years or thereabout, at the prime of age. But they were always together and caring for each other. I mean, it just shows, if people read these pastimes of Lord Krishna's relationship with his cowherd boyfriends, especially with Balaram, it gives an impetus for love in the family. Because, people can be siblings, but the relationship can just be official. The relationship of Balaram and Krishna as siblings was not just official. It was being coordinated by a very strong bond of affinity, a bond of love. And so, just like Krishna killed demons, Balaram also killed demons. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has kindly delineated in his Krishna Samhita about the meanings of each of these demons killed in the Krishna Lila. You read that book? Yeah, it's on the internet. You can read it. It's an e-book now on the internet. You can read it. You see, as priest means preacher. One of the fundamental principles of living in a temple or living in an ashram is that you are grounded in knowledge. You have to read. And I'm interested also in reading. Not all interested in reading, I'm also interested in references. You say, tell me some story. As a scholar, I may want to incorporate that in some of my references in the future. So I may ask you, where can I get this story? I remember I just did that to somebody on the internet. And some devotee made a good story. That was the second time of my seeing that story. And then I was so inspired. So I wrote that devotee. This is a Westerner. He has some blog. So I wrote that devotee that, look, I like these pastimes. Can I have a reference? I know that people don't normally ask that. But I asked because as a scholar, see, even the story of Hiranyakasipu, I incorporated it in one of my research. And that research was published in the Journal of Financial Crime, not religious journal. Journal of Financial Crime. The story of Hiranyakasipu, I incorporated it there. So I know that some people they don't like to be asked about the reference, but it is important. Prabhupada gives everything he says, he gives a reference. Prabhupada, we should follow the example of Prabhupada. So I was speaking with some devotees. They're doing. One of them has finished his PhD, and the other one is almost finishing. And the other one is also on a PhD. So they are preachers in ISKCON. And I was telling them about that story. I said, I like that story. It's not that I'm trying to find fault with the person who put up the story on the internet. I like that story. I like that pastime. It's a pastime. I don't know, some of you must have also seen it. It's a pastime where Arjuna visited Krishna in Dwarka, and he was resting, and he was chanting Krishna's name. He was chanting, and all his limbs, his limbs were also vibrating Krishna's names. So I said, oh, this is it's so sweet. But where can I find this? Where can I find it? So when I wrote to this devotee, well, it's not a devotee in ISKCON. They have a Mandi. When I wrote to him, who published it on the internet, he took him time to respond back to me. But he said, it's in the Bhagavad Purana. I said, come on. I have Canto 1 to 12 of the Bhagavad Purana here. I have 2 sets here in Mayapa with me on my desk. I said, it's not there. Tell me where you got it. He said he will find out, but I never. It's not confronting people, but as a scholar, this is our nature. I mean, it's like you go to the law court, you want to convince the magistrate about winning your case. Yeah. You have to make a reference. Prabhupada is a good example of a guru, a Vedic scholar, who always makes references. Always makes references. So, let's get back to Balaram. So Balaram was such a formidable force. And he was there to protect Krishna. But, can anyone really protect Krishna? That is the Leela. Older brother, see, sometimes we don't seem to probe into the sociological underpinnings of the pastimes. Why does Krishna need an entourage, some other devotees to be born in a family? Sister, brother, for what? He came as Ramachandra. He had a host of siblings. For what? He could just come and, make his, display his pastimes, kill the demons, and give protection to his devotees. But he acted like an ordinary person. So Balaram, when Balaram's appearance, also Krishna was there. And they were always together. Always together. I have a brother. Do you treat your brother like Krishna and Balaram do? You treat each other. Love and affection, sharing. And when little kids come together to play, it helps in improving their cognitive abilities. It helps in improving their creativity. That's the difference. If you have a lone child in a house, you compare their cognitive abilities to another child who was born and raised amongst other siblings. The one that has that socialization among siblings will always have high social intelligence than the one who is a lone child. The lone child may not even spend so much time in the home because the mind is not there. His friends are outside. So Krishna and Balaram, yes, they have friends. They go and play. But when Yasoda wants Krishna to come back, he sends Balaram, go bring your brother. It's time to eat. Comradeship. I have a brother. Do you have comradeship? You have a brother. Do you love your brother? I have a brother. If your brother is doing something based on your love for each other, can you go and interject, and say, hey, mommy is calling for you. Time to come home. See, we read these stories and pastimes, but there are implications to our personal and collective development. So let's go quickly to Dhenuka Sura. Dhenuka Sura. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has delineated the anatas that could be vanquished based on each and every of the narratives regarding the killing of the demons in the Krishna and Balaram's pastimes. So Dhenuka Sura, yes, who knows, who can share with us about the anatas? False proprietorship, ignorance. You sure? Are you sure? You sure? False what? False ego. Okay. Anyway, sometimes you need to also do some research. The book is there. I mentioned earlier, you have to read, especially brahmacharis. You have to read. I remember when we joined, there's no time. I was a pujari, and the pujari is not like today's pujari. You go to the altar at 4 o'clock. You will not leave until like this time. You go to pick flowers for puja, and you come to the deities. And when you finish in the morning, you take prasadam, you go out, going out on Sankirtan and come back 5 o'clock. Oh yeah, come back 5 o'clock. And then you don't have time to read. So I used to go to the back of the temple, back of the building to hide and read. Because in the temple, in the ashram, there are so many devotees there. They're talking here, talking there, talking here. Yeah, I don't have time to read. I like people to tell me that. Then I'll tell you my bad experience. So, Balaram is an epitome of spiritual strength. If we want spiritual strength, we should worship Lord Balaram, especially today. At least we should not eat till what time? 12 o'clock? Or today's, I remember when I was younger, fasting till 12 was not fasting to me. Because I don't eat until 2 o'clock anyway. So fasting to 12 was like nothing. But right now, my body is falling apart. So fasting to 12 is something. So you are young. You are, you are young. Take advantage of your youthfulness. Perform some austerities for spiritual growth. Perform some austerities for spiritual development. Sometimes people see, okay, like my case, people see me moving around, and then, sometimes people make him that comment. Oh, he's so lucky. He's a Swami, he's a guru, he's a big scholar, he has a PhD, he has this, he has this. But it's not easy. It's not been easy. The road has been very rough. The road has been very rough. Some of you don't have that type of rough encounter in devotional life. So, to read about these pastimes should be something pleasurable because you don't have a situation. To read about these wonderful pastimes should give us some pleasure. So Balaram was in the forest with his friends. Krishna was also there. And his demon. They were desirous. They were desirous to eat the fruits around. But in each and every of those forests in Vrindavan at that time is filled with some demons. Because they also feed on those fruits. So if you go there to try to take some fruits, it's like you are a competitor. And people don't like competitors, even in business. People don't like competitors. So Dhenukasura, he was an ass demon, correct? So the cowhead boys, they told Balaram they want to eat these fruits. That is being guided by Dhenukasura. So Balaram said, don't worry, I'm at your service. Even the Supreme Lord is at the service of his devotees. Even the Supreme Lord is at the service of the devotees. The devotees require something. They have a need. And the Lord comes to the rescue. See how devotional service is so amazing. It's not like we have someone on top there and then you have to worship him, you have to, clean his feet, you have to do this for him, and he does nothing. The Lord serves the devotees. So, when he told Balaram they are hungry, they want to eat the fruits, so Balaram said, no problem. But then they warned him, there's a demon. He said, no problem. So Balaram went and then yanked the trees and the fruits were falling. So the demon came from nowhere. And a number of these four-legged animals, I know the case of giraffe. Is that how they pronounce it? Giraffe? Huh? Giraffe. Yeah. I know the case of giraffe. Even lions, giraffe defeats them. Why? With the hind feet, the hind foot. He kicks you. He kicks the lion and throws him away. So they asked, also uses their hind leg in their fights. Because see, they have our type of teeth. Huh? They don't have all these terrible canines and carnivorous teeth. And their legs are very powerful. So this Dhenukasura came up and he kicked Balaram with his hind feet. Balaram didn't budge. So he kept yanking, and then the devotees were picking the fruits. And then the demon, he became very superlatively angry, and he kicked Balaram again. So Balaram just held his feet and, wheel him around, wheel him around, wheel him around. Like a football, like. Threw him on top of the tree. And he was so heavy. So the tree fell, another tree, another tree, another tree. In that way, so many trees fell down. So, what does this mean to us? Krishna and Balaram being attacked by demons. Impediments, obstacles, challenges on the part of our devotion. Sometimes you go to places and some people say, oh, I have this challenge, I have this doubt, I have this problem, I have that problem. Even when Balaram was there with his devotees, the challenges were coming. Challenges were coming. The beauty is that there were strategies to deal with the challenges effectively. So Balaram killed that demon. There was another demon, Pralambasura. Is it Pralambasura? No. The Pralambasura. Pralambasura, he assumed in the form of one of the cowherd boys. See, sometimes people think that these stories are like, they are mythology. No, this is real. A demon can assume any form. Oh yeah. In fact, a demon assumed the form of Ugrasena to have sex with Padmavati. That is how that's how Kamsa was impregnated. So demons are very powerful. Don't go and challenge the demons and say, well, I'm a devotee. I challenge you. They are very powerful, okay? So Pralambasura, he assumed his idea was to kidnap. The intention was to kidnap Krishna and Balaram. So Krishna and Balaram, they were having fun with their cowherd boyfriends. And they divide the group, 2 teams. The one that will defeat, then the defeated members of that group will carry on their soldiers the other devotees, the other cowherd boys. So Pralambasura was on one side, I think on the side of Krishna. So he had an opportunity to carry Balaram. So he decided, as they were going, it's a pleasure, right? To carry somebody on a soldier. like a horse. So as they were going, he assumed his real form. And very easily, Balaram killed him. So again, we talk about obstacles, challenges. Even Balaram was faced with challenges. One time in Vrindavan, Krishna and Balaram were together, and then, Balaram said, uh, may I use your peacock, what do you call it? Peacock, yeah, may I use your peacock? And that same day, Kamsa has sense of demon to go to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. So the demon asks, how am I going to identify him? Identification. How am I going to identify him? It's very easy. He's the only cowhead boy who has a peacock feather on his head. And when this demon came, he saw the guy with the peacock feather. But it wasn't Krishna. It was Balaram. Because I don't know what is obtainable in India, but I remember when we were little kids, you feel proud to wear your brother's clothes. And so Balaram felt proud to wear the peacock crown. But that was danger. That was danger. So this demon came and he spotted Balaram. And he gave him the worst kick of his life. Balaram felt, wow, this is too much for me. Hey, Krishna, take your stuff. So if we want to play God, we should understand the problems that will come along with that. We may not have the resistance. We may not have the potentials to be able to defeat the negative blows from the illusory energy. So, in this way, Balarama and Krishna, they were always having loving exchanges. And the important factor for us, especially today, is that we should pray to Lord Balaram if we want to be successful in our spiritual life, if we want to attain sustainable success in devotional life. Sustainable success means we succeed and we go along with that to the end of life. So if we want sustainable success in our devotional life, we should beg Lord Balaram, the carrier of the plow. Because Balaram can demand for anything from anybody with his plow. Even the Jamuna. Come here. He said, I'm busy. I'm too far away. Shh. To pull you over. So pleasing Lord Balaram is the secret to devotional life. Because Balaram is the epitome of service to Krishna. Even in the spiritual world, all of the paraphernalias that Krishna uses, they are Balaram's energies. Sesha, Balaram. So the great devotees, they become great by service to Krishna, not by anything else, by service to Krishna. If we want to be great, we should serve Krishna. If we want to be really great, we should serve the devotees of Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna mentions in the Padma Purana that those who claim to be his devotees are not. Those who serve his devotees are his actual devotees. So Balaram, we want to serve Balaram. Wonderful. But even greater than serving Balaram is serving the devotees in the community. Serving and creating a bond in our relationships, so that we have a sense of belonging, so that we feel this is my family, so that we feel I have something disturbing my mind and I can share with at least one person. We should look at the intimate relationship between Krishna and Balaram and see what we can take home from that. Hare Krishna. Any comments?
Hare Krishna. Any questions? Devotees can raise hand. Mic will come.
Mataji is there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams to you. My question is, you're talking about the impediments in the devotional life. And you also mentioned Lord Balaram being the Adi Guru. And we should always, because he's the Adi Guru, we should always listen to a spiritual master. So one of the impediments which I see, and we are facing it, that at times, though people are devotees are initiated, don't listen to the instructions of Guru. But we know that Guru knows the devotees, his disciples, much better than he knows himself. So he's giving instruction according to his nature. So what kind of advice you would want to give to, how should we deal with the devotees, or tell them that you actually listen to your Guru Maharaj, which is actually good. Maybe at that point of time, he's not understanding. So that is an impediment also, and you're not listening to your Guru. It's actually a aparad to your spiritual master and to Lord Balaram's.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mataji. This is a very philosophical and insightful response. Sometimes we assume a status where we think we cannot respect anybody, or we cannot even respect Krishna. So I'll give you an example. When the sages gathered at Namisraya, so Balaram, that was, pending the war of Kurukshetra, Balaram had, some type of, a difficult decision to make. Because he was instructor, the mace instructor to Duryodhana and Bhima. And he wouldn't take sides. And of course, during the war, Bhima killed Duryodhana in an unprofessional way, so Balaram was upset. But Krishna placated him. So we have to understand that the relationship between Guru and Krishna is so intense that sometimes two disciples are having some problems and the Guru does not want to get involved. Like the case of Balarama. He didn't want to take side. And sometimes we have a guru, Yasa Prasadam, Bhagavad Prasado, Yasa Prasadam, Nankati Kutopi. Actually, the secret of success is to please the spiritual master. By pleasing the spiritual master, your life is successful. But someone may say, well, I don't receive direct instructions from my spiritual master. So please your Siksha Guru. Someone may say, well, I don't have a Siksha Guru. Please your temple management, temple authorities. I remember one guru, he came to our temple, and he has a disciple in that temple. When I just joined. And so this disciple is a female disciple. He said, Guru Maharaj, you know, you come here only once in a year. So how am I to know that I'm pleasing you? And how can I please you? So he said, the white guru, one of Prabhupada's disciples, he said, you have a temple president here? She said, yes. So sometimes we want to jump the gun, but it doesn't work in that way. So he said, the guru said, if you have a temple president here, and because I'm not always available, it's difficult to evaluate you, it's difficult to please me. So, me, the temple president, ask some service to perform. And when they're happy with your service, you should know that I am very, very happy with your devotional life. So, we don't have excuses. We don't say, well, I don't have close relationship with my guru to get instructions. I had, but it was a big challenge, but because he gave me very, very difficult instructions. So sometimes, better not to have. Better not to have close relationship, because the close relationship, the guru will watch you and do everything for you and all this stuff. I mean, it's like some of my disciples. I order them. You do like this, you do like this. In fact, my Guru Maharaj, he told me to go and preach to corporate professionals and professors. And then later he told me, Vasudeva, the service I asked you to do is very difficult. And that time I didn't even have a master's degree. You can imagine someone who has no master's degree to go and preach to professors, to go and preach to, corporate professionals. Can you think about it? Think about it. But the guru knows your potentials. You may not even know your potentials. So he may give you some instruction so that those potentials will be drawn out and be used in Krishna's service. But then he told me, yes, I know this service I gave to you is very difficult, but if you don't do it, you will not be happy. I mean, it's like a curse, right? So, but it's good. It's good for my purification. I like difficult things. I know everyone doesn't like difficult things. I'll give you another story, another instance. A war was going on in the country. 6 devotees were already killed in that country. And my Guru Maharaj, he told me, Vasudeva, go to that country and investigate how the devotees got killed. Yeah. I have a guru, sweet relationship, right? So I flew into that to the neighboring country. There's a temple there too. So the president of that temple, my Guru Maharaj's disciple, he sat me down and preached to me like 2 hours not to go there. He said people are being maimed and killed. He took me to the border area and see all these people, asked them what is going on. So I looked at him, looked at this gentleman, I looked him in his eyes, and I said, between you and Guru Maharaj's instruction, whom shall I follow? You, get out. So I went. To please Guru's order It's not a gulab jamun. I went, I stayed there for like some couple of weeks, investigated how the devotees got killed. I spoke with people. I stayed in one devotee's home. Then I had to fly out. I went in with a one-way ticket. One-way ticket. Have to raise money in a war-torn city, war-torn country to buy a ticket. Had to go on Sankirtan to go and raise money to buy a ticket to fly out from a war-torn country. So I was doing that, and then later he sent one devotee from a neighboring country, one of the presidents in a neighboring country, to send me money for ticket. So that's how I flew out. So sometimes we think that to have a spiritual master is such a cheap thing. That we may get instructions that could be challenging. But the challenging instructions from the spiritual master is also encapsulated with empowerment. So if you understand this, you will not act like Arjuna, resisting Krishna's instruction. And that's why Krishna just told him, hey, you do it and go get the credit. I have already finished this business. Everything is already done. So the disciple is just an instrument of credit. We should never think we are doing anything. We should never think we are doing anything. We are just instruments in the hands of God Krishna. So to have a spiritual master, people should take shelter of a spiritual master. Spiritual life becomes easier when we have a guru who has to guide us, who has to give us specific instructions. It may be challenging instructions, but it challenges your false ego. So yes, it is important to have a guru, and it is important to follow the guru's instructions, for better or for worse. And it's very easy to please your guru is very easy. You have a temple president, you're not able to communicate with your guru. In most cases in ISKCON, with the senior gurus, many devotees don't have access to them. In our time, we have the great opportunity. In dead of night, Guru Maharaj will call you in the night. He's in another country and will engage you in 2 hours talk. How many of you, your Guru Maharaj call you on the phone? Huh? So, it's a different scenario. But you have devotees around you, you have management, you have very loving leaders who can help you. And if you have any issues, any problems, I'm a professional. Forget about being a guru or being a sannyasi. I'm a professional in management, in leadership, in education, in counseling. I have the degrees in the field. So if you have a problem, feel free. Acharya Ratna, he has my email, he has my WhatsApp. You feel free to ask me anything. I am not another Swami. I am a professional with appropriate skills and technologies. We had a wonderful program at Delhi, at Jayanti University. And it came out so nice. It was a devotee organized program in cooperation with this Jayanti University. And I saw many, many young people in their 30s or late 20s, doctor, PhD, PhD, PhD. They came from different organizations to make presentations. So we have ISKCON is supposed to have even a university by now. Because the Catholics, they become well grounded, well established through education. We are building big, big temples, good. But we need also high intellectuals who could become influential in bringing other influential, high intellectual or corporate people into the movement. So we should pray to Balaram today to consolidate our relationship with our Guru, to help us to work together, to help us to create loving relationships amongst ourselves, because we can't say we love Balaram and we want to please Balaram without having loving relationships amongst the family members, the siblings, devotees around us. So yes, Maharaja, that was a nice point you raised. Relationship of the Guru is so important. It's so important. These days, with some people, it becomes like a fashion. I have a Guru. But that big Swami is my Guru. You know my Guru? So it's not a fashion. It's not a fashionable thing. It's a very serious relationship. And if you're not ready, don't try to get one. But if you're ready to go back to Godhead, we need to be guided. You need a Guru. Any other comments? Some comment? Okay.
I have a question, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Imagine your opening talk, you were talking about a devotee who was a brahmachari in New York. A devotee who was a brahmachari in ashram and later left because he did not find relationship. Maharaj, recently in our ashram also, one brahmachari left, and he also, one of his complaint was that he did not have relationship. So Maharaj, what can we practically do in brahmachari ashram that devotees are strongly bonded and can find loving relationships?
It's a very good question. A very great concern. On top of that, in our ashrams, devotees are committing suicide. Yeah. So, strategies to develop loving bonds, loving affinity in our relationship. See, we can preach Madhurya Ras, but do we love each other? See, I was at the conference there, and these scholars, some of the professors, they are talking really big things. So anybody can talk big things. But do we love each other? Question is, do we love each other? How many people amongst yourselves, how many people that you have a real disturbing problem that you can go and reveal your heart to? That person who will not take you to the street, that is called confident. Rupa Goswami calls it confident. So we need a confidant, at least a confidant in our lives, in our devotional lives. We need somebody It might not be your temple president. It might not be your guru. It might not be your whatever. But you need someone you can share your heart with. That is a relationship. I have encountered people who had problems from childhood. They never told their parents. When they met me, when they encountered me, they started telling me. I said, did you tell this? One of my normal questions is, did you speak with your parents about this? They said, no. I said, why? They don't care. We should not make people feel that we don't care. This is parent-child relationship. But the child is having a problem from childhood and will not tell the parent. That's not a good thing. And you challenge the child, why don't you tell your parents? They don't care. So we should not be members of that community that people will leave and say because we don't care. When any time a devotee leaves, we should feel, I am guilty for not being lovingly disposed to this devotee. So, one of the strategies is that we should start creating relationship. Rupa Goswami has given us some strategies. Exchange of love, gifts, being a patient listener. Sometimes we're just too busy. It's like American mindset. See, when I left Africa and moved to America, Africa is just community oriented. One devotee is ready, coming to bug you to shave your head, and all, coming to bug you to wash your clothes, and all this stuff. In America, no. We're not like that. It's called rugged individualism. Rugged individualism. You are in your own world. So I learned some type of bad qualities in America, but it's also helping me. For instance, I learned to shave myself, so I don't have to depend on anybody to shave me. I learned to wash my clothes and all this. Sometimes you travel around, you're visiting homes, and people don't like it because they come to meet you. Maharaja, what are any clothes for washing? I say, I washed my clothes last night. And they become very upset. So we should have service attitude towards each other. You see some devotee growing, their hair is grown, we can make an offer. Prabhu, can I shave you? I don't know whether you shave each other in India, but in Mayapur there is a barber, one devotee, that is his service. He shaves other devotees. So there are strategies that we can implement. And one of them is exchange of gifts. Think about when you give a devotee a gift. When was the last time you gave someone a gift? And sometimes it may not be a gift, but you just call the person up on the phone to find out how they are doing. And remember, I used that strategy with one of my cousins who was at that time a law student. But that's just my life. I call up, especially when I was younger, I call up my friends here and there, trying to find out how they're doing and all this stuff. So this boy, as a brahmachari, I didn't have any money to help him for anything. All I could do is to help him in his academic career, call him up, motivate him, encourage him. Because they complain this. But so I told him, look, I never had the opportunities you have. Your father is training you in college. Nobody knows in my family how I got my PhD. Oh yeah, my master's, my friends paid for it. So family members didn't know how I got my PhD. So I just call him up once or twice in a month to motivate him. And then one time, that time I was using Facebook, he wrote me a mail, a message. He said, you know what he said? Just by calling someone to motivate them, to ask how they are doing, he wrote me a message. He said, sir, I wish I have anybody else like you, but you are the only person who loves me dearly in my life. So I thought, what did I do to him? Nothing. I remember the only thing I could do was to encourage him in his career. So by calling somebody up to ask how they are doing, that is a gift. Because people don't call anybody to ask how they are doing. Or majority of people don't call you to ask you how they are doing. They call you to ask, to demand for service. They call you to ask for help. They call you to do something for them. So try calling someone to ask how they and their family are doing. That is tantamount to a gift, that love, exchange of gifts. And you will see how they respond when they meet you next time. I remember one boy in Chicago, in Michigan, Indian boy, he just finished his master's and he was working. It's my friend. And so I think I was in another country. Then I called him just to find out about himself and his new wife. So I came back to America. And he sent me a ticket to come to his city because they were having a Ratha Yatra. And it's a new guy who just got a new job. So when I flew there, first thing I did was to chastise him. Now I said, why you have to spend your money to buy me a ticket to come here? You could have arranged with the temple management, they would have done that. You are just getting a new job, you don't have any money. Why don't you see how to manage your family first? And this boy told me, oh Maharaj, you don't know what you have done to me. I said, what did I do to you? He said, see, you were away in another continent and you called me just to ask me how I was doing. He said, listen, he said, even my parents don't do that to me. They call me only to demand for money. That's what he told me. So till today, we are like this. We have a very strong bond because he feels I love him selflessly and he wants to reciprocate. So calling somebody just to ask how they are doing, it pays off. It consolidates our relationship with that person. Because majority of people on the planet, they are too busy. They cannot do that. So the strategies are there in the Upadeshamrita. 6 strategies. Listening with rapt attention, confidentially, sharing confidentially. Exchange of gifts. Those strategies, they create a loving bond. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Balarama Jayanti ki. All right, thank you.